You heard the hometown hero story of 3 brothers who were veterans, but how about 4?
Today we meet the Youngbauer brothers, who all have the same inspiration for serving in the military.
Our father was in the Second World War, and he didn't talk much about, but he talked about the training he had.
For the 4 Youngbauer brothers of Berlin, their father was enough inspiration for each of them to join the military. At the oldest, Joe was the first to join the U.S. Army.
And I just knew I wanted to be a mechanic and work on tanks. And that was from young on. And I got that fulfillment.
In '66, Joe spent his time in Cu Chi, Vietnam, doing just what he wanted, working as a mechanic on various military vehicles. Little did he know, his brother David, just 2 years younger, was beginning his journey with the Air Force.
I wanted to see the world and see what was going on out there and get away from home.
Just like his brother, David too had dreams of being a mechanic. He became a crew chief, flying temporary duty stations, or TDYs, over Thailand and Vietnam.
We'd go TDY to Thailand for like 90 days, and then we would fly combat missions over Vietnam to support the bombers and the fighters. We'd refuel them over Vietnam.
And a year behind Dave was Paul, who joined the Army in 1967 and knew what his future held.
Just our family history, our uncles and father and a couple of my brothers. It was, duty, honor, country kind of a thing. It's just, something that I wanted to do was to be part of it.
Trained as a combat engineer, Paul was eventually stationed in Germany, where he ended up in an infantry unit, serving as a Jeep driver for their executive officer. While it didn't go exactly how Paul had planned, it was always what he wanted.
That's where I wanted to go to begin with. I mean, even though 1967 Vietnam was very hot, but that was my goal, to go there, and wanted to see some of the country and the world, and I was fortunate enough to get that honor.
4 years younger than Paul, and watching his 3 eldest brothers serve in the armed forces, the baby of the 4, Alois, had some big shoes to fill when his time came in 1971.
That was back when they had a lottery system, and then the lottery numbers come up. When my number was chosen, it was pretty low. So I figured, well, I think I'm going to avoid the luck of the draw. I'm going to sign up.
Alice was stationed with the U.S. Army in Germany as a tank repairman. He was the final piece of the puzzle as all of the brothers returned home safely by 1973. They share a bond so strong, not only as brothers, but as veterans.
A funny feeling sometimes to sit there and, that I had a pretty good time in there. A couple of my brothers, they weren't quite so always privileged, but as Brother Joe said, we're there and we're here now.
That bond was strengthened when the 4 of them were selected for an Old Glory Honor Flight trip in 2019. But there was one person missing from that trip, the Youngbauer's inspiration, the one who started it all, their father, Al. And they know they've made him and their mother, Georgia, proud.
I think they're looking down at us, and they're rather proud. They're happy to see 4 guys make the best of the world.
And we thank all 4 of you for your service. And don't forget, if you know someone who you would like to nominate for our Hometown Heroes segment, just send an email to WFRV Hometown Heroes at wearegreenbay.com. Jordan is up next with a check on the forecast after this.